what's the term? I guess that's the term. We didn't have to work if we didn't want to. And that was really a special day. I call it Independence Day. And so these few paragraphs deal with what happened after we signed all the papers and were leaving the office. So it says, our business complete, the parties filtered from the room. Sarah, the buyer's attorney, left immediately and unceremoniously to return to New York. Paul and Beatrice, our investment bankers, also headed back to the city. Phil, our lawyer, walked down the hall to his office. Steve, Charles, and I drove separately back to TAS to give our employees and friends the good news. We had a lot of shareholders in the company. I was euphoric as I settled into my car. I popped in my latest Stevie Wonder CD and sang along. Rain your love down, won't you rain down your love? Let it drink us like the sun from above. As I turned on from Newman Springs Road onto Shrewsbury Avenue, I was consumed by thoughts of my father. His intense interest in electronics created a fertile learning environment for me, and I had been intent on making the most of it. I grew up determined to prove it was a new day, that the forces that had frustrated my father's ambitions and limited his career would not stifle me. My father's dreams became my dreams, and his reality became my nightmare. Taken together, they were powerful motivators. Tears started streaming down my face, and I screamed, yeah, yeah, ah! Yeah, I did it, Pops. See, I did it. I always knew what financial independence meant, but had never felt it. Now I realize that unlike my father, I could do what I wanted, live where I wanted, raise and educate my kids the way I wanted. I was, to borrow a phrase, a man in full. I might have been a sight, a black man crawling along in his black Mercedes, screaming at the top of his lungs and crying at the same time. Luckily, no policeman spotted me, or I might have been arrested or worse, committed. Oblivious of my surroundings, I didn't care who was watching. With each scream, I exorcised the doubts and fears and uncertainty that had lurked inside since my Flint childhood. It was as if 30 years of pressure were released in a few moments. I had proved what I had set out to prove, that I, a black man, could establish and build a world-class technology business from scratch. I proved that the many sacrifices my parents made to enable my success were not in vain. I proved that the monumental civil rights struggle waged during my formative years made the difference between my father's bitter frustration and my own sweet elation. So many people worked and endured and marched and suffered and died during that movement, and their images were burned into my young psyche. I proved that those people didn't work and endure and march and suffer and die for nothing. Their battleground became my proving ground. Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. That was very, very, very insightful.